May Overwatch 2, the sequel, expansion or whatever, brings many awesome content in the future.
That one didn't age quite so well.
Yes, I know. I am going to be eating my words for that. So anyway, what's up you guys? So just to let you all know, I don't usually make these kinds of videos, but considering what Blizzard has been doing recently, it really has been causing a lot of harm to my love and passion for the Overwatch franchise. And honestly, it needs to be said. And it needs to be said by a fan and a lover of this franchise. So, with that, let's go back to where it all started. In the year 2019 at BlizzCon, Jeff Kaplan came up on stage and announced Overwatch 2 and explained of what the game was going to be offering, promising that the game is going to be a great sequel to Overwatch 1. He explained that not only that the game is going to be expanding on the gameplay of its predecessor, but also to continue the story of its very own PvE story mode. So not only the game was going to be PvP, it was going to be PvP and E. So naturally, many of us got hyped. Now, let me tell you, a story mode was definitely something that I wanted for a very long time, ever since I've been playing the co-op missions in the Archives event. However, as the years went on of waiting for the next game, things were starting to decline. From having trouble balancing Brigitte, who was a god-awfully broken playable hero at the time, to having Blizzard banning a Hearthstone pro player, Blitzchung, for siding with the Hong Kong protests, to having the game being delayed multiple times, to having Jeff Kaplan, the very face of the franchise, leaving Blizzard. But that was just the tip of the iceberg. What really had made everything fell apart is when workers at Blizzard had been horribly mistreated with sexual harassment and discrimination by the company's higher-ups. The backlash was huge. Protests were made, employee walkouts were made, and many more chose to leave the company. Well, needless to say, Overwatch 2 truly has been having a very rough journey. While I do think the PvP isn't as good as Overwatch 1's PvP, such as removing features from the game that made Overwatch unique, like the card votes and the on fire system. Having fun with the game though, it can be done. I do honestly think it's for the best that certain heroes had gone through changes and reworks to fit in more with the role categories that they are in. While I don't entirely agree on the 5v5 format, the only thing that I do agree is not dealing with double barriers anymore. That shit is miserable to deal with. Season 3 and 4 had been arguably the best seasons so far, because at the very least the devs had the decency to add in legacy credits so that players could use them to buy cosmetics at the hero gallery, which I am okay with. Now, I am not a game designer, but I can only imagine that juggling the PvP multiplayer and the PvE story mode must have been quite the hassle for the devs. So I can understand that maybe releasing PvP on its own would probably make things a bit more easier for the devs, because after all they do need to focus most of their attention on the PvE mode, which is supposed to be the main purpose of this game being a sequel. Okay, now let's get to the part where most of you who are watching this are here for. So the 3 seasons have came to an end, and many of us have been slowly anticipating for more news of the PvE story mode. However, they brought us bad news. They just announced that the PvE story mode is being scrapped. Cancelled. Which means we're not going to be getting the epic PvE story missions that were shown in 2019.
Oh, fuck you!
They made us wait for 4 years with little to no content given to Overwatch 1 at the time. Story mode, PvE mode, aka the main selling point of Overwatch 2. The biggest opportunity to make this game sequel worthy. Something that could have given this not so great game something worth playing. The very reason why Overwatch 2 even exists is now being thrown away. 4 years of waiting for this mode and it's all been for nothing. Are these guys for fucking real? If this is really a sequel, then why even shut down its predecessor? It's almost like they are aware that it's the same game. Seriously, you promised us the PvE story mode, and you broke that promise. You shut down Overwatch 1 for nothing. Throughout 2021, you could have just gave us Sojourn and Junker Queen and Kiriko, and in the following year, then add in Ramattra and Lifeweaver, while we wait for the story mode. I could have been fine with that. And now that PvE is cancelled, the chances of this game being good enough to be a sequel is now ruined. Now it all feels like nothing really matters in this game anymore. Why should this game even have the number 2 at this point? It still functions the same way as Overwatch 1's PvP. What's the point of calling this game a sequel when it's now not going to have the very feature that you marketed as that would make it a sequel? Far too long that we have been waiting for this mode, and I was really looking forward to it. Seeing all these cutscenes that were shown in BlizzCon 2019, they looked really amazing, and I couldn't be happier at the time, especially with how much potential and variety that the talent tree has presented. It really feels like pure escapism, as well as a fun mode to pick and play and not having to deal with sweaty tryhards on PvP. I am also very upset because a very close friend of mine had just uninstalled the game along with Battle.net because PvE was the biggest thing that they were looking forward to. And now that it's cancelled, they don't want to play the game anymore. And I don't really blame them. That just shows on how much of a letdown you really are, Blizzard. You just shattered all of our hopes and dreams of playing these epic missions and getting us to feel even more connected with the characters that we played and mained as for years. And you should be ashamed of yourselves. And yes, I know, according to the recent roadmap that we had, we are going to be getting co-op story missions, which sounds more like they're going to be archives missions. I honestly would not be surprised if these story missions are going to be turned out to be watered down versions of the PvE story missions on how they used to look back in 2019. Regardless though, I am still going to try them out. I swear to God, these missions better be permanent modes and not seasonal like the archives event. I am genuinely getting sick and tired of playing these awesome co-op missions only to end up not playing them in the next month because the event is over. I hate that. I much rather that we play a mode that we can come back to and play anytime we like. You know, for the sake of replay value. Why not just put these story missions into selectable story chapters, kind of like what Left 4 Dead does? Imagine having this mode being worked on to 3 to 4 years, only to end up having that mode being worthy to play for only a month, and then not able to play it afterwards. Seriously, that is such a waste. It's no wonder why people nowadays find seasonal events to be stale and underwhelming. Other than that, nothing really has interested me so far from this roadmap, except maybe the cinematic reveal, which I think is supposed to be an animated short about Sojourn and her dog Murphy. I want to watch that because Murphy is so freaking cute. Oh yeah, and we're also getting a new support and tank hero. I can only hope it's going to be Malga and Overlord. Also, I am glad to see that the on-fire system has returned, but then again, why was it even removed in the first place? I really do miss the times when Blizzard was so loved and respected, and how dedicated they were. Those times really did felt magical. But just looking at all of this now, Blizzard really has by far the most pathetic higher-ups that one company could ever have. I hate that it's come to this. I really hate that companies prefer not to have their practices based on commitment, honesty, and respect, but instead they just rather rely on abusive and deceitful practices. And now they pretty much lied to us about the full scope of PvE coming out in 2023. And now we're not going to get it because of fucking corporate meddling. And now we know what is the true existence of Overwatch 2. To be nothing more than a cash grab and guilting players into buying new cosmetics with ridiculous prices as well as guilting players into unlocking new playable heroes in the future just by paying for the battle pass. Now we have spiraled down to the point where we're not going to get the full quality of the feature that's going to make this game a meaningful sequel. And that pretty much has doomed the future of Overwatch. I can only hope that Microsoft gives Bobby Kotick the golden parachute so that he can fuck off and leave Overwatch and the other IPs of Activision Blizzard alone. Because scumbags like Kotick ruined my favourite game and its reputation. And I will never forgive him for that. That's all I ever want at this point. So yeah, to conclude, I wouldn't say I am quitting the game as much as I really do want to right now. But I do think I'm not going to be active on this game as much as I used to be. If there is one thing about this game that I'm done for good, it's the Battle Pass. I'm never buying any more Battle Passes in the future. Fuck them, I'm done with them. For good. Because Blizzard doesn't deserve the income, obviously. Plus, I've already got enough cosmetics in the game that I am happy with. I pretty much have almost every cosmetic in Overwatch 1. If I were to ever play the game again, then it's probably going to be me playing with friends, because, after all, playing games with friends do make things more fun. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I know that I have got a bit heated throughout this video. I just need to let it out. Feel free to share your thoughts on the situation in the comments. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Feel free to like and sub. Have a good one.